What's going on, guys? T2RX6 here, back for another third-party review. And today we're taking a look at Magic Square's MS B-18 Light of Justice. This is their Legends Optimus Prime. Real quick question for anybody watching. Let's see if I can find it. What the heck does Brobdingnag mean? I have no idea. Maybe there's some reference. I don't know. I saw it on the box and I don't even understand what it means. But it's Optimus Prime, obviously. So this is the Magic Square offering, and Magic Square seems to be one of the most beloved of third-party Legends, so this should be good, right? Well, I like it, but I do urge you, before you buy one, to wait till next week and check out the Hot Soldiers Prime and see if you prefer that one over this. But let's start with accessories here. So the first accessories of note are the smokestacks, and they are a huge pain. They just peg on into place, and they will fall out. Now mine are clipped in pretty solid because I've gone ahead and added a couple coats of clear nail polish to them to kind of really sure up that tension. Otherwise they will just fall out. You do have the option of slightly longer non-angled smokestacks. I prefer the angled one, so just kind of for reference there. A little bit longer, not angled. You get a hand, which I believe is for their Ultra Magnus, so he can shake hands with Optimus. You get the Optimus hand. You get these two hands stock on the toy. This is what hands will be on them if they come out of the box. You can't actually transform them to truck mode with these. You need to put the fist ones on. So be aware of that. For whatever reason, they give you two pointing fingers because maybe you need to pick which one you're gonna use. You get this little adapter, which is for the Magic Square huffer to carry the trailer. I don't have huffer, so I can't show you that. You get the obligatory Energon axe. Of course, what is Prime without his roller here? This one here is pretty nice. It's hollow all underneath. The wheels roll pretty nice. Not a whole bunch of detailing, but nicely painted, and I think it works. And honestly, you get what's probably the worst matrix any Optimus Primes ever come with. You got this little peg here, it just pegs in. You really can't do anything with it in truck mode. You do have this big open here. I guess you could throw it in there, but you'll probably lose it. It pegs into this piece down here in robot mode, so I've never tried this. Let's see if it can be done as a place to store it. I don't know. It's really hard for someone with hands like mine to get that in there and peg it in place. So the matrix doesn't really work. So quick size comparison here. Here is Magic Square's Inferno next to Prime. You can see Inferno does feel a little bit small. The truck looks, like a big semi next to him. But I do think Inferno is probably a little small if you're trying to scale alt modes. And of course here is a New Age car, and this one being Smokescreen. Let's bring in Jazz here for good measure. And you can see the scale starts kind of dwindling a little when you put the New Age cars, which my understanding the Magic Square cars are the same size as the New Age cars. So it's a little disappointing when you consider the scale between the vehicles. But really a lot of people are in it for the robot scale, right? And here we've got the obligatory Matchbox size Grand National. So we did talk about accessories, but we didn't mention the trailer. The trailer is of course an accessory. If you want to take these out, you need something to get in there. They didn't leave you any type of thing to get a fingernail or anything in to let the trailer stand like this on its own. It does have the little swivel out bits to support the fold down mechanism, and you can pull this down for extra stability. I don't particularly like how this trailer works. So you got a little round hole, and there's no round hole on Prime, but there is a square peg, so, or a square hole. So this is the case reversed of round hole square, round peg square hole, and it works. He can tow the trailer just fine, but it's not really secure. Any real movement is going to make it come off. So I kind of expected to see this adapter type hole on Prime somewhere, and it's just not there. Now, some people prefer this Optimus in his alt mode with the trailer. They think the trailer looks more in scale. I argue it's not, and it becomes even more disappointing when you consider bringing in any type of car. That car is taking up all of the trailer for the most part. The trailer does have rear opening doors, and you can pull out the ramp. You may need a tool for it. which is nice. It's got the little articulating ramps. The thing is, it may be hard to see, but this ramp is scaled for a Matchbox car. When it actually comes to like your New Age cars or even the Magic Square cars, the wheels are off the ramp, which also means they barely fit inside the back of the car, or inside the truck, and that's as far in as this guy is gonna go, which is really disappointing, especially when you consider your slightly bigger figures like Jazz just don't fit in there, and that's a huge no-no if you ask me when it comes to a Prime trailer. So let's take a quick second to open up the trailer. As I showed you, you can bring out those side ramps there, and inside there is pretty well nothing. You got a little bit of silver detailing here, which is nice, but they could have extended those courtesies to the inside here to make it more interesting. You do have like the repair drone thing. It has, I guess, the radar antenna, which you have to fold out into the side. And it has this claw, and that's it. You can move this around. It doesn't go down anymore. You do have the ball joint, but no elbow articulation, I guess. And the claw itself doesn't actually open or close. This is on a ball joint, but it's a very strange ball joint, so you can turn it like this or like this, but if you want to rotate it to the side there, you kind of have to awkwardly use the armature here. It's just not the most elegant use of the trailer, if you ask me. And like I said before, if you put your roller in there, now you have zero room for any of the cars. So just very disappointing. You can see exactly how much of the trailer the car is taking up here. I don't like that. So what does impress me about this Prime, though, is how much of the transformation is actually borrowed from, well, the full-size Light of Freedom Optimus Prime that Magic Square put out, which does borrow some things from MP10, but the transformation for this guy is fun, and it is very much similar to their full-size version. So you saw I started by unpegging those. You can unpeg these wheels here. There are some minor differences, but for the most part, it's very similar. We'll do that for both sides here. And nothing broke, that was just the sound of my finger flying off of there. So I like to kind of bring that around here, and then I also like to bring these in if I can. We're going to open up this panel here, fold that open, and fold this around. Bring the whole foot up, and now find a good place where you have clearance. Bring the silver piece around, bring that around, and then tuck it back in like so. Also make sure you got this little heel spur out of the way while this is all open. So once that's in place, everything should kind of collapse in like that. This little red tab should be sticking out. You can close this around and close this up, making that little red tab show, and then just bring his toe down. So that's one leg. Let's try to show you again here. Again, open up this piece. It'll help you get the leverage there. Bring that around. Bring out the leg, which is, as we refer to it, very Combiners Wars-esque. Find the good place to rotate this around and bring the silver piece in. Bring out the little toe spur here. And kind of manipulate the leg so the wheels fall into that slot. And push it in and bring it back up. Close this, open up the front toe, and there's some legs to our Prime here. Coming up to the top part here, we're going to go ahead and unpeg this piece from there. We can bring this out like so on both sides, just like that. And now fold the fist out, and this is the fist that has to be on there to make it transform. There's just not enough room with the fingers splayed open to work. Bring this piece, it's on like a slider, so you're going to pull it out. You can see it separated there. Bring it around and close that up. So again, slide it out, bring it around, whoops, bring your fist out first, and close that all up. So So we got the front of the truck for the most part. Now we're gonna take this piece, open it up, and open up the back here. Take the head, rotate it all the way around so it's flat there, and bring it up. Be careful of the little antennas, they are very small and probably easily bent. You can put that back in place and close this little piece up. From here, this is where you're seeing our MP10 sharing. We're gonna take this piece off, well, unpeg it, rotate the sides of the truck down and around just like you do on MP10. You want to have these back panels kind of facing upwards when you're ready, and you can close that up in place and it should be flat against the back. So same thing over here, rotate this piece, which is easier said than done sometimes, because you do have to fight a little with space management. Bring this around. This one is real stiff on mine. Make sure that this is facing up and bring it on in. Now for this front piece, just so you know, it can pull out like that. It does have like a little detent on the end to kind of keep that from happening, but if it does, very easy fix. Take this, rotate the black armature around and bring it down, and now we just have to take this, rotate it back, and close it up like that. So now this is mostly done. You can see this moves very easily. If you wanted your matrix, this is the time to do it, because you're going to take it and just plug it right in here, and you can see it just kind of hangs out in front of his chest, and you close it up. And there we've got our Optimus Prime in his robot mode. So Optimus Prime's detailing is very nice. The head sculpt looks nice. It does feel a little small for the shoulders, but I don't think it's terrible. I think I've seen some worse ones here. One thing that does bother me here is like the way the pecs kind of stick out here, and you can see in there. It's not a huge gripe, but it is a gripe, and I do think that the windows don't really necessarily sit super nice looking on the front here. Of course, I forgot to mention that he has his signature gun. It does feel like a little skinny and a little long. Maybe it needs to just be a little more bulky. It doesn't quite feel right. But other than that, articulation on this guy is pretty fine. He gets plenty of forward and back. Not as much as maybe you would like, but I think for Prime it's still okay. I do like how some of this little hip skirt armor and stuff does get out of the way when you're manipulating things. So very clean from all ends here. And of course, much like MP10, you can pull the joints out of the side here if you need to change the stance on the arms. But see how, like, just kind of moving it a little, this opened up? I don't like that. So a couple quick size comparisons. Here is the Magic Square Grapple. So it's nice that Prime is bigger than Grapple. Here is the New Age Smokescreen, and here is Bumblebee. I do think that that scale looks pretty nice, and there's definitely things about his scale that I prefer over the Hot Soldiers one, but we'll get to that when we get there. And here is a GoBot for good measure. So let's get this guy back to his truck mode and let's get out of here. First we're going to open this up. We're going to take this out, which is hard to do. There we go. We're going to throw it in the box and lose it forever because it's a bad accessory. I'm sorry. It's just not good for this guy. Bring this armature up and let's spin it around and we'll get that right out of the way. We can open this, bring this piece on around. From here, we're going to go ahead and fold this down, fold this around, and fold the truck bits in place, like so. Making sure that everything wants to play nicely together. You can peg these two bumper pieces in for a little more stability. Again, bring this one down, rotate it around, and bring everything up in place. Whew, this one is so stiff compared to the other side. It's kind of scary actually. So take that, bring that in place, And let's make sure the wheels look good. They do. We can now close the windshield here of the truck. Look at that. That is so bothersome. Anyway, take this, bring that little tab piece around, flip the head around, otherwise it's not going to close up properly. Bring it all the way down, make it so it's flat when it plugs in, push the head against things, and leave it like that. Bring that little piece down. Bring the arms back here, open up this piece, and kind of slide it into place, and bring the hand around. Open it, slide it in place, hand around. Bring the arms in place like this, and then slide it in on that little armature there. That does tend to make it a little bit easier to fit in place. So bring it there, slide it into the armature. From here, take this piece and bring it down, and it should kind of clip in place. It's not very loud sound or anything, but you'll know when it's there. That really bothers me. Open up these pieces here on the side, like so, and bring this up and over to get it out of the way. Kind of combiner wars this out, and this is the moment to pull in the mid combiner wars this little truck bit out. Kind of bring it around, and you'll know it's fitting properly when it'll go over the side for the most part. Bring the silver piece and the red piece out. Now finish the combiner wars process. Fold the toe in, and you should find that if this armature stays out, you are in a position to peg that in place. Take this, fold it all the way in, and then closed. That helps shore that up, and close that. So one more time. Open it, combiner wars, flip all the way. Finish your combiner wars with the toe in, or the heel spur in, I should say. This should allow in the front here this to peg into position. Take this piece, fold it all the way in, fold it in, helps pull the foot out. Clip that together, adjust our toes here, and then line everything up and peg this red piece in. Peg this red piece in. So overall, fun transformation, super annoying chest. Decent size, decent sculpt. Materials seem okay. If you like the Magic Square materials, you'll know what I mean. I do feel like New Age makes a better product. The feel of their plastic is more what you're used to when dealing with Transformers. There's something odd about Magic Square's plastic. Yeah. And that window is really going to drive me crazy at some point in my life, I think. But it's a good Prime. But like I said, I urge you to tune in next week and take a look at the Hot Soldiers one with me, and then make your decision which one is going to be your Legends Prime. So this is T2RX6. I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I'll see you next time.